This game feels like Freddy Fazbear took a shit and held it out in his hand for me to eat. That's how bad this game is. The new Five Nights at Freddy's game might be the worst in the series. It's not good at all. I I honestly think it's worse than Security Breach. Security Breach was bad. Real bad. And I believe it was a terrible direction for the series. Very straight farther away from what the originals really stood for in my heart. It was way too cartoony. It was not scary whatsoever. And it just wasn't fun. It wasn't. But at least it was more fun than this new game that came out. This new game is such a slog. It is so slow. Like, I swear, all you do is hide in the stupid lockers over and over and over and over and over and over again. There could have been a better way to deal with the hiding mechanic instead of just making it only lockers. Are you kidding me? That's the best you could do? Only lockers. Nothing else to hide in. At all. Even Security Breach lets you hide in many different things. But instead, you are only locked to hiding in the lockers. That is it. No other hiding spots. Sorry, my bird is terrible in the back, by the way, if you hear the chirping at all. But yeah, no, that is a step down. That is more of a step down from Security Breach. The variety of hiding, gone. I honestly feel like, and the characters in this might even be worse used than Security Breach characters. I honestly feel like there were some moments in Security Breach that got me. In this entire game, I think maybe only twice I was shocked at something, and that was the end of the game. And I believe it was maybe during whenever something fell through the sky. I don't remember. It was so terrible that I don't even remember half the darn game. But I do remember that one part of this game, no, two parts of this game, had me so mad. Had me terribly mad. The Foxy shooting minigame in the Springlock suit. Okay, yeah, that is something you can hide in. Yes, they had that, but it's not as frequent as the lockers. The Foxy shooting minigame. Let's start on that. That minigame. Oh my gosh. Okay. That shit made me think of the fucking Mini Arenas minigame from Sister Location. From Night 4. Before the patch. That shit was awful to figure out. Once I figured it out, it was easy, but I don't understand. What the fuck is the point of the plushies just sitting in the corner? What? You don't even have to shoot them. At all. They just sit there and wave at you and distract you. I thought you had to shoot them. That's another thing with this game. It does not direct you where to go at all. So I had to look up half the shit where I needed to go because I had no clue what I was doing. It doesn't even indicate where you need to go. It just says, go here. And the map just points you, it just says these. So you go to this, you can't just pull up the map of the win. You have to go to these PCs just to pull up the map, which is an inconvenience. And I swear, I still would get lost, even when it names the locations out on the map. You have to keep it in keen memory of where you're going, or else you're gonna lose track of where you're going. And honestly, most of the locations in this entire building all look the same to me. Not one of them looked different to the other. There's just trash littered everywhere. A few robots, and I believe it's really just a Poppy Playtime clone, honestly. This is a clone of a clone. Well, it wasn't a clone, but this is a clone of a game that was inspired by the original game, or by the franchise, and it cloned the clone. I don't know how best I could say that. It feels like it's trying to copy a game formula from another game that was inspired by the original FNaF games. And it does it very bad. Really bad. The character models in this game, like I said before, they are not scary. Honestly, they are leaning more cartoony. I get that FNaF isn't for the audience it was originally for, but that doesn't mean you can't have dark or terrifying moments in the series. Like, come on, kids need to have something to be scared of, to look back on, and you'll grow up and look back fondly on it. That's what I have plenty of memories of the original FNaF games. You know what? I'm not even. Let's just go back to the part where I was saying how terrible that Foxy game was. So you're shooting the stupid spring lock suit balls or whatever they are at the targets, and if you don't shoot them enough time, my mouse controls are terrible. I don't know why. I've seen everybody beat that thing first try, but it took me 3 hours to beat that stupid minigame. I don't know why. I just kept getting killed for no reason until I figured out that it was the stupid meter going all the way down. What? Like, and if you even miss one, you're dead. It feels like that. Yeah, you can't miss any. You have to be dead on point. It's so dumb. It feels like that's where probably most kids are probably gonna get stuck at. Right, the other bad part of the game. It has gotta be the stupid tiger part. I hated the tiger part. I understood it a little bit after I played it a little bit of times, but the tiger part of the game, I swear I was on that for like 3 hours. Same with the Foxy one. Probably same time. I was trying to figure out so hard to do. The man would like, at some points I would be walking forwards and he just spawned in front of me. But even with the little light, like, I know you're supposed to back away from him, but I couldn't even back away from him because he was spawning on me. Like, what was I supposed to do there? And I just had to get lucky in some of the runs because he just kept spawning on me over and over again. It was bad. The good ending of this game and the bad ending, spoilers, they're not good. They're not good. Maybe lore implications, I don't care if the lore is better than the game, man. The game should still be good to match the story. You can have a good game and a good story. I don't care how good the story is. You should have good gameplay with the game. And I honestly feel like Steel Wool is not a good studio. Scott made a bad decision with these people. I originally thought that it was a good idea to give an indie studio a company, but these guys, they did one good game. One good game. In my opinion, their best game is the first Help Wanted game, and that's it. Security Breach was terrible. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was bad. It was a good experiment for them, in my opinion, trying to do open world, but I think they should have done it a lot more darker, not as cartoony. It went a whole different direction than what everybody thought it was going to be. It was way too cartoony. Way too. They threw characters in there that shouldn't have even been in there, they made characters that had no screen time at all. Not to mention, the whole point of this game, too, was introduced back in the original DLC of Security Breach or whatever. And honestly, I'm just going to say it right now, the fact that you have to read books in order to understand where a character comes from. Well, yeah, I get that you had to understand more, but you can't just introduce the character in the game. Instead, they just throw a new character at you that you have no clue about. I mean, yeah, there is some lore in this game probably towards the character, but here's the thing. It's still cryptid, like all the other games, which I'm fine with. I like watching YouTube videos on all the lore and stuff. It's cool. But if you're trying to go for a more kid-friendly approach, shouldn't you make the story more, I don't know, less cryptid? And you should probably make it so that people can actually understand it. Because it feels like they're retconning a lot of the original lore in this game. And in my personal opinion, I was not a fan of the lore from Help Wanted through this game. I always consider FNaF 6/Ultimate Custom Night to be the last games in the series. Because that's how much I feel like the series has lost touch with itself. If they cannot make... The only reason the FNaF games were good is because they were a certain style. There was a style to those games that no other games had before. And with Security Breach, I feel like it just became another open world game that tried to scare you like the other open world mascot horror games that have already been in development like prior years before. Like, yeah, I thought the whole Freddy thing and his belly was cool, but it honestly took away the fear factor of the game for me. The amount of bugs in Security Breach was just unabysmal. But in this game, there's no bugs. Let's just say that. I don't think I've seen a single bug yet. That's good. It's better optimized. But honestly, I had a better time with Security Breach than this game. This game is so slow. Like I said earlier, it is the slowest game in the series. It has to be. Honestly, it has got to be the slowest game. You move so slow. You cannot jump. The puzzles are not good. They're terrible. They're actually terrible. They're actually shit. The puzzles are the worst part of this game. Literally, I didn't even understand the crane operating one. I'll probably put that up in a second. Literally, you had to move a crane. I had to look that shit up. I had no clue what I was doing. It doesn't even... Like, I was moving that thing around for maybe 30 minutes trying to figure that shit out, and I just looked it up because I got sick of it. I actually wanted to stop playing this game. And even the ending, like I said earlier, it just was not worth the time playing this game just to get that ending. I should have watched this game on YouTube, but I didn't. I paid $40 for it, which I don't think this game should have been $40. I think it should have been less. I honestly think it should have been less. I get more time out of Elden Ring Night Rain. I've put more time into that game than I have into this game. And these are both $40 games. This should have been a $20 game. 15 maybe. With the amount of and the game is locked to a upset frame rate, which is 60 FPS. You cannot make it go above that. I don't know why they thought that was a standard. It is not a standard. You should be allowed to customize the FPS to however you want. But I guess they couldn't do that. I don't know why. Not to mention the person, the character, and the what is it? The title screen, the giant puppet or whatever it is. It's only in the game for like 10 minutes. That's it. You never see it again. I swear I thought it was not dead. But, nope, you straight up just, spoilers, you straight up just kill it, and, you never see it again for the rest of the game, at all, ever. Music Man was alright, or Ticket Man, or whatever he is, he was just another Music Man, again, like the 5th iteration of him. At this point, can we just get some new characters besides just the Mimic? I mean, yeah, I see all these puppet suits and whatnot, but it's just the Mimic still. It's literally just the Mimic. No other character. It's just one character chasing you throughout the game, pretty much. Then there is the end of the game. I think there is another character in the game, but it's only at the end of the game. And that's it. And honestly, I'm just gonna say it. I could not give less of a shit about our main character. He says 3 or 4 words throughout the entire game, and that's it. It feels like, honestly. Security Breach had more voice acting than this game did, and it was a worse game, honestly. Well, honestly, this game is worse than Security Breach, but there should have been more development time for this game. They should have came up with a better idea. If this is their Fredbear game, because this seems like it takes place during the Fredbear era, or whatever, because I know the lore or whatever, I just don't keep in touch with most of it anymore. But if this is supposed to take place during the Fredbear era, I don't care. This seems too futuristic to be part of the Fredbear era. Like, what do you mean? Too cartoony, man. And we already had games that looked really good in the Fredbear era, I guess. The FNaF 4, that was a good game. Really good game. It was actually scary. I mean, it didn't have a good story, but... Well, it did, but... Honestly, I feel like I haven't even been talking about this game. That's how much I don't even remember this game. I really cannot tell you word for word how boring this game was. I literally was dozing off half the darn time I was in those stupid-ass lockers. I could not tell you a single thing I remembered from this game besides the Foxy minigame, which sucked, and probably the endings, which also sucked. There were some cool moments with it, but then it was ruined by the gameplay. Again, I really could not care less about our main character. He literally is just there, and there is nothing else to him. They don't ever say who he is. They never say what his purpose is. Honestly, it feels like his purpose was just to literally... Okay, spoilers. Again, his purpose was literally just to die at the end of the game. That was it. Both endings are the same. Honestly, even if you give him... At least he lives if you give him the bad ending. But in the canon ending, he still gets away with the fucking thing that you get, like, in the bad ending. They're practically the same ending, honestly. And to me, you're still giving the Mimic the fucking thingy, or whatever it is, in both endings. One of them, he just kills you for it. The other one, you just give it to him, and that's it. I never saw the other endings, because I could not give less of a fuck. I immediately uninstalled the game after beating both the endings, the canon ending, because that's all I cared about, honestly. And this game really is not worth the money. If you're saying this game is the best FNaF game, I don't know what you see. I would like to see some help in the comments if you actually can give me a direction of how good this game actually is compared to the other ones. It is not fun. If you're telling me the story is there, yeah, sure, all right, I can understand that point. But if you're telling me gameplay-wise this is the best FNaF game, no, it is not. It is a terrible slog to get through. It is so boring. It is not fun at all. And that should be a standard for video games. Making sure the gameplay is first, and then the story. Well, I get for FNaF it is about the story or whatever, but you should, like I said before, there should still be good gameplay with it. And I really don't have much else to say about this game except don't waste your money on it. Just watch people play it just look at lore videos for it, honestly. I would have refunded the game if I beat it quick enough, but I did not because I had to work. But yeah, hopefully the FNaF community doesn't get rage baby on me in the comments for this take. This game just is not good, in my opinion. And I do not want others wasting their money on a game that just is not fun, when you could be buying other games that are better. And there's my alarm. Darn it. Hang on. Because there have been plenty of horror games that have come out this year that have been greater than this game. I'm not much of a horror game person myself. I only play the FNaF games because, honestly, they're the only horror games I ever got into. Really, I mean, I did play a little bit of Resident Evil, but those are kind of scary. They're not really too scary, some of them. But compared to any horror game I've played, honestly, this has the worst horror of any FNaF game ever. There is no horror in this series anymore. Most FNaF games just feel like hiding, running, hiding, running, hiding, running, again, over and over again. And at least, like, okay, I'm sorry I'm ranting on still about this. The original FNaF games had a system to each of them. Each of them had their own unique way of playing. This one does not, at all. You literally do the same shit you do in Security Breach, except less, because the only thing you can hide in is the fucking locker. You're telling me I cannot hide in any boxes? I cannot hide under anything else? You're telling me the only thing I can do is hide in a locker, hit a fucking button that sprays a straight up song that lures him to my location, and then that's it? Honestly, I thought the watch gimmick was cooler. I actually did, even though it had no purpose. But yeah, no, this game is just... It's not worth your money. It's not, like I said before. There is other games that are better than this game. You can literally go play Poppy Playtime. That is a better game than this. Play the original FNaF games, which actually had heart and put into them. This feels like it's just a fucking money cash grab, just shoved out without any effort put into it. Look, I'm not making fun of the developers for this game, but it feels like this has been a steadily declining. The games have been steadily declining in quality than they have increasing in quality. I feel like the original way, you should be making the games how they were originally. You shouldn't be like it's FNaF. I don't think FNaF is meant for these open kind of like, if you did it like Sister Location did, but like in an open area, kind of like Click Team kind of way, I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a cool way to do it. But no, every single game feels the same. Every single Steelable game feels like it uses the same assets I've seen from the last 3 of their games and the DLC to Security Breach. It's just feels like they're not putting any effort into these games. They just feel like they're making them for children at this point, which they probably are, honestly. But yeah, no, these games just don't capture the heart of the original do, and I really think Scott should reconsider Steel Wool, because these games have not been getting better. They've been getting worse over time. They've just getting worse and worse and worse. And I hope the best for this franchise. I really do. But with each installment from Steel Wool, it feels like they're just shitting out these games instead of actually trying. Like, with a Security Breach, they literally delayed the game 5 times so that you could give us a better experience just for the game to be shit on launch. Are you kidding me? What the fuck were they doing during that whole thing? Look, I get it's a small development team. I get it. But there are great games that have come out this year from small development teams, and you can take your time while working on these games. Take as long as you need. It's fine. But don't rush these out. You're ruining a franchise that was actually really cool. If you can make your dream Fredbear game that you've been talking about so much, and you make it in the original style of the games and not these open world, vast, cartoony worlds that you've laid out that do not make sense of this world at all, then yeah, I think people will start enjoying these games again if you make them dark and depressing again, like how they originally were. That's why we got invested into so many of the characters from the original games. There's so many that I can't even. Honestly, I see why Matt Pat left doing game theory, because this shit, honestly, it probably pissed him off. Honestly, I don't even blame him. But yeah, they just need to fix. They just need to go back to the roots of how these games worked. Make a good actual game, survival game, original idea, how the original games were made. You could even do like a Sister Location kind of game with the Fredbear game, where you kind of like walk room to room or something like that, instead of actually having free roam, which I think is worse for the series than it is good, because I think it took away what actually made the games magical in the first place. It feels like you had to do what you had to do. It feels like in these newer games, you can just glitch through the wall in order to get to where you need to go. I feel like people are just... I just cannot stop ranting on how bad this game truly is. I'm gonna get off before I have work, so let's just move on from this and call it a day. But yeah, these games, not good. They're not good at all. Just go back to the roots, like I said before. That should probably get everybody back on board with FNaF. But if they don't do that, I'm honestly probably never gonna play another FNaF game again. Like, I mean, I probably will, just to see how shit they are. But this, it just feels like it's straying away from how it actually fun the original games were. I still replay some of the original games to this day. That's how good they really are. But yeah, like I said before, I gotta get to work. This game is not worth $40, so do not buy it. I wasted my money on this shit. Should probably have been 15 at most, maybe 10, because of how shit this game is. And yeah. Hopefully the FNaF community does not get pissed off at me with this one. This is Mason. See ya. Bye. I don't know. I still need to figure out an outro, honestly.